I'm your host, Tanya. Tonight we have made it back to Saturday, guys. Listen, I hope everybody has enjoyed their week. We have made it all the way to November the 1st, guy. First day of November, y'all. Let's give it up. We have made it. October is over. Halloween was yesterday. And I'm telling you guys, only 60 more days left in the year. Okay. But anyway, I hope again everybody is doing good. Listen, let me tell you something about my Thursday showing because I know people were texting me and emailing me saying, hey, what happened to the show? Listen, guys, my internet and my modem was not working. Okay. When I got home on Thursday evening, I got home about 5:30 right after work. I noticed that I wasn't getting no signal for the internet. And so I looked on my cell phone. I wasn't getting no signal, the Wi-Fi signal. I was looking at my TV. I unplugged everything, tried to reset everything. And guess what? Nothing was working, unfortunately. So I didn't have no internet or modem or Wi-Fi for the last 2 days. So the technician did come out today and he did fix everything. Thank God for that. Okay, because now I can able to stream, I can do my videos again, and I can upload stuff onto YouTube. So apologize for Thursday's show. So tonight, instead of doing fun and entertainment, I decided we're going to talk about what we were going to talk about on Thursday, which means we're going to talk about the political, and then we'll do maybe a entertainment show tomorrow. I'm not sure if I can do it at 8, but we'll see. Okay. But again, thank you for tuning in on tonight. This is Saturday, November the 1st. Listen, we got some news about the SNAP benefits, of course. And we also got some news about things being issued for this month, November the 1st. Okay. Come to find out that there was a ruling in court or the government has decided to issue the SNAP benefits for this month of November, which is very, very good for families. Listen, I am so glad that families are, can get the assistance that they need because nobody wants to not have anything for their kids, you know what I'm saying? Especially during the holiday season, okay? So I'm glad that someone, actually made that choice and made that decision to say, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and extend it for November. Now I don't know how December is going to look. Okay, I don't know how that's going to look, but I will say this, and I'm very very serious when it comes to that. Be very careful how you're spending this money, guys. Whoever's getting these benefits, whoever is, you know, if you're receiving it, treat this as if you may not get any more. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, because again, this is just for November. We don't know how many months they're going to extend this, if they are going to extend this, right? The government may be just giving people time to maybe transition off of the system. I don't know. Okay. But I will say, like I say, spend wisely. Okay. Don't go out here and get all this frivolous stuff, guys. Don't go out here and get all this junk food. Nothing wrong with getting snacks for your kids. But that shouldn't be just all you have. Okay. Get things that you know is going to last you and your kids. Okay. Healthy things that is healthy for you and them as a family. All right. Because I'm telling you, it's not going to be pretty. This is the winter time too, or getting ready to be almost winter. And the government don't care. Okay, they don't care who it hurts. They don't care who it offends. They really just don't care. All right, and that's very, very, very important. Okay, so I wanted to touch on that because I was going to talk about that on Thursday. Like I said, the internet was down. I didn't have no signal at all, and I was so mad because I was ready to do my show on Thursday, and then, like I said, I couldn't stream anything. I couldn't download everything, and I said, you know what? Since I work Monday through Friday anyway, and I'm off on the weekends, the technician came out around 8:15 this morning, fixed my internet. My guy gave me a new modem. Thank God for that. And now I'm back up. So I am good to go. I'm ready to do my show like normal. And so again, thank you for all the people who's tuned in and all the people who subscribed to my channel and giving me support. I appreciate that 100%. Okay. Thank you, and thank you. I can't thank you enough. All right. But anyway, listen. Also, what I was going to tell you is that uh, come this month, now we're in November, okay? They did say that they may tweak the EBT program too. Now I don't know exactly what they're going to do. I don't know how they're going to do it. I just know that again, don't depend on the government, guys. Get out of that mindset of I'm going to have the government do things for me. No. Don't even let that be a crutch for you anymore. Okay? Because I'm telling you guys, December is going to be the true test. All right. Now, I've been hearing different outtakes about this whole phenomenon on the food stamp and EBT system. Some people think it's a hoax. Oh yeah, I've been hearing people say, "Well, this is just to stir up people's emotions," and it could be. It could be, right? Some people say, "Well, this is just a way for people to make more money, the businesses to make more money, because it's going to be a scare tactic for people to go out and buy all this grocery." The problem is people don't have the money to buy. People were thinking about stealing the groceries. Okay, so if it's a scare tactic, that's going to be a downfall for a lot of people. Okay, they're not going to, how can I say, if it's scaring people in the wrong way. It's not scaring people to actually buy. These people are actually going to steal. Okay, so so that's not helping them at all. In fact, they're going to be losing money if they do that. Okay, but yeah, I've heard a few people think that this whole government shutdown and the how they think that this is something to stir up the emotions of the people and to for people to start panicking and to get money and to but again, and that's all in fine if people had money to spend. The problem is people are not buying, they're stealing. Okay, they're going and raiding in all these supermarkets and stores. And I think that was probably why they decided to issue these benefits to the Americans, because they said, you know what, we can't lose all this money. We can't lose all this money. People were going to start stealing from Target, Walmart, all these supermarkets. And guess what? That's billions and billions of dollars down the drain. Down the drain. Isn't that crazy? So again, what do you have to do? How do you have to do it? Okay. I tell people, listen, if you're receiving these benefits, be very careful in this month. Okay. They extended it for November, and you know what? That's a good thing for the families. However, be very, very careful in how you're getting these benefits and how you're using them, because you can't treat this as if they're going to extend it for December. Okay. In fact, I would get things that would last me and my kids. I would not go out and buy all this junk food, because that's not good. Okay, that's stuff that's not going to last you. Get things that you know is going to last you and your family and your kids. Okay, that's going to be very, very important. All right, don't go out here and buy all these Doritos and cookies and chips and ice cream and all this stuff, because guess what? it's not going to be beneficial for you and your kids. And guess what? That food will last you no more than a couple days. Okay? Get things that's going to last. Treat this as if you may not get another extension. All right? That's what I would do. I would not even I just wouldn't even do it. I wouldn't even take that risk. I wouldn't. So but yes, guys, let me just say this also. Now, they did say that they are going to extend, like I say, from the November 1st through the month of November, the SNAP benefits and EBT and things like that for the families. And guess what? That's great. I've decided to talk about that tonight because, like I said, Thursday I was supposed to film and I couldn't film because my internet was out and blah, 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 blah. But I know y'all are tired of hearing about that. But anyway, the goal tonight is to go over why I think this is going to be very critical this month. Okay. December, they haven't said what's going to happen. All right. And I'm telling people, treat this as if you may not get no more assistance after this. I'm being very, very serious. Okay. Don't treat this as if, oh, well, they're just going to extend it next month. They may not. They may not. They may and they may not, right? Be glad that you did get this extension this month. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you, like I said, I think part of the reason why they went ahead and extended it is because of the threats that Americans were making, saying that, if you don't give me this, then I'm just going to go and take it anyway. Well, guess what? Businesses don't want to hear that. They want the money, whether it's coming from cash or EBT. They don't care where the money's coming from. All they care about is making a profit. But if you're saying you're not going to give the benefits and these people are going in and just going to take the take the food right out of the grocery store, guess what? Those companies are not going to make any money. The retailers are not going to make any money, and the company selling the food is not going to make any money. And guess what? The only person that wins are the people that's stealing the food. Okay? So that's why I think they extended it this month, because they said, you know what? Let's give it to them. But I'm going to tell people, if you're receiving these benefits, I would treat this as if this is my last month to get it. Because like I say, you don't know how December is going to look. You don't know if they're going to give you that extension, right? You just don't know. Why take that chance? And if you're going to get stuff, please buy stuff that's going to last, guys. Okay? Don't go out here and get a whole cart full of Doritos and cookies. Nothing wrong with getting snacks and stuff like that for your kids, but that shouldn't be your whole bucket. You know what I'm saying? Get things that you know is going to last and it's going to be beneficial for your kids, and something that's nutritious and healthy. Okay? Because again, we got the extension, and the only reason I think they did it is because of the threats that Americans were making. If you give it to me or not, people say, well, I'm going to eat regardless. Okay? People are they're not going to starve, guys. I've said that since day one. People are not going to eat. Okay? They're not. So anyway, hey everybody, welcome to the live with Sports and Politics with T. I see some people joining in. Hello, hello, welcome. I am doing this tonight because I was supposed to film on Thursday, but my internet was down, unfortunately. My modem was not working, and so I just got it fixed this morning. So I'm now able to stream and do my shows again. So thank you, everybody who's tuning in to the live tonight. And again, welcome to Sports and Politics with T. We are talking about things that we were going to talk about on Thursday, okay, which was the SNAP benefits and things like that being extended to Americans in the month of November. So that's wonderful, wonderful news for the Americans. So I'm so glad. Let's give it up for tonight, guys. Yes. I said, we're going to do this, and we're going to make sure that people understand how important this is, right? Let's treat this as a serious, serious thing. Let's not go on the whim. Let's not just go out and get all this stuff. Get things that you know is going to be beneficial for you and your kids, okay? But anyway, also, what I wanted to also talk about tonight, we're not just going to talk about that, but I also wanted to talk about some other things too going on with the government as far as Medicaid and Social Security benefits. Now, they did say that that Social Security is not going to be affected. That's a good thing. Okay. However, Medicaid, different things like Obamacare and things like that could be on the chopping block too, which is also going to affect a lot of people with their health coverage and their medical benefits. So again, this administration does not care, guys. Okay, I can't stress it enough. You know, they keep blaming the Democrats, but the Democrats are not in power. Okay, the Republicans are in power. I'm not Democrat or Republican. I'm independent. Okay, so let me make sure everybody understands that. So in my eyes, both sides are evil. Okay, and I've always said that. All right, but let me say this: anytime you can take away food from families, and you can take away medicine from people with no conscience, I mean, what does that really say, right? You know, these people in the government, they're rich, okay? They could care less whether you have food or not. They could care less if you have medicine or not, or if you can go see the doctor or not. Guess what? It doesn't affect them. It doesn't. They could care less whether you starve. Again, it doesn't matter. It only if it does affect them, that's when you would start seeing changes. But because it doesn't affect them, they don't care. And it's still the federal workers that's on shutdown right now, they're still not getting paid. It's been 30 days, no paycheck. Yeah. Imagine working for 30 days and you still haven't gotten paid yet. And it's all because the government refuses to make a decision on something that's pretty simple. Yeah, you know, kids in a sandbox. That's what we're dealing with right now. And it's the truth, okay? And the sad thing about it, the federal workers that are making decisions, they're getting paid. That's another thing that's the kicker for me. It's like if you're going to stop benefits, right? If you're going to stop federal workers from getting paid, then why is the government still getting paid? The ones that's making the decision. Why don't you suspend their checks? Okay, stop their pay. Let's see how long of a decision it will take then. I promise you, they will have a decision pretty quickly. It won't take no time at all. You know why? Because now it's affecting them. Okay? Stop everybody's paycheck. Don't just stop the TSA workers and the United States Postal Service, anything federal related, or the Department of Revenue, Internal Revenue, and all that stuff. Yeah, okay. If that's the case, stop the House of Representatives paychecks. Stop all of the Senate paychecks too. Yeah, stop all of those. Let's see how much decision we'll get then. I promise you, you're gonna see a decision made before the end of that day, probably before noon. You know why? Because now it's a pressing issue. Okay, it's affecting their livelihood. That's where we are, guys. I've said that since day one. Until it affects them, they don't care. And this is on both sides. It's Republican and Democrats at this point to me. I don't think there's a lot of Republicans that are happy at this point either. There might be some that might be diehard, but there's a lot of them I feel like have kind of turned their plate over too. You know why? Because they see where this is not benefiting them. They're losing money as well. Farmers are not getting their grants for their farms, and business owners are mad because now you didn't ship people overseas. It's just a mess, guys. It is totally a mess. Okay. Now, since we are in the first month of November, guys, look, we got 60 more days before the year is out. And I've decided that I was going to do the fun and entertainment channel, which we're going to do that as a playlist. A lot of people have been asking, we've been seeing your videos, but where has it been listed? It's under the Sports and Politics with T channel, but it's under the playlist under that channel. And I'm doing that for two reasons. The reason why I'm doing it is because I'm trying to get the traffic to that channel, and most of my content is on this particular channel. Okay. So if you're looking for fun and entertainment with T, you can come to the Sports and Politics with T, but just go under the playlist that says fun and entertainment with T. Okay. And you'll see all my videos with the fun side. So that's where we talk about the dating and the relationships and, all the fun stuff on that particular playlist. And then on the Sports and Politics, this channel that you're looking at right now, we're going to talk about the serious stuff, world events, world news. We're talking about sports, things like that. Okay. So, but yes, and also, guys, if there's some things that you want to talk about, or there's some things that you just want to discuss, or some things that you just want to, maybe chime in, hey, you can hit me up in the comment section, or there's some things in my inbox. You're welcome to send me anything that you want to just kind of address. Hey, I'd love to hear it. I really, really do. And thank you for everybody joining the live again. Welcome to Sports and Politics with T. We are talking about, again, SNAP benefits, EBT, and all that stuff. You know why we're discussing it? Because, look, guys, this is the first time in history. And when I say history, this is the first time in history that the government has decided to take away the benefits altogether. Okay. Like I say, they've reduced the benefits before, but they've just never just taken it away altogether from the American people. Meanwhile, they're sending billions and millions of dollars overseas, helping other countries. And that's another thing that just gets it. It's like, okay, you got people suffering right here in the United States, right? But you just sent out $20 billion to help out a country that hates us, by the way, with no problem. Meanwhile, federal workers are not getting paychecks. This mother of 6 can't get food stamps or EBT for her kids, but you just sent out $20 billion overseas to help another country. Okay, this, again, why are we doing that? Do you see the hypocrisy in this? If you have $20 billion, why can't you send that $20 billion to the American people right here? Right? Why do the Americans have to suffer? And we live here, we pay taxes here, but you have no problem sending $20 billion overseas to a country who hates us. Yeah. Again, it doesn't make sense, but it's wasteful spending, though. That's not wasteful spending. Okay. It's just crazy. It's just too much, back and forth, back and forth. And guess what? The American people, they're tired. They are. I see it every day. I hear it from people. I see it on their faces, guys. When I'm going to work, even when I'm on my lunch break, I analyze a lot of things, okay? I look at how people are walking. When I'm in my car, let's say I'm eating my food and I'm on my lunch break, I look at how people look. I look at their expression. I look at there's no joy no more. I don't see that. People are not communicating. They're not, I don't know what it is. Like there's a disconnect. People are just going where they have to go, getting their stuff and go. There is nobody being personal no more. People don't have that happiness no more. You know why? Because people are drained. They are. They have done all they can do. Layoffs are at an all-time high. The job market is laying people off left and right. And it's not people's fault, right? What can you do when you've done everything you can do? Now, I'm a firm believer. Okay, let me say this. God is going to take care of you. Okay, if you're a believer like me, God is going to take care of you. All right, so you don't really have anything to worry about in general, but it's just that in the natural, it's hard, because you're looking at like, well, God, I'm doing everything I can do, and it doesn't seem like I'm getting no help. Okay, everything I try to do, and it's like I take 2 steps, but then I get knocked back 3, right? And then I try to take 3 steps, and then I get knocked back 6 steps back, right? And that's what people are feeling right now. People say, oh, this is a great opportunity. They go for it, only to be told to get let go 6 months later. So now you're back to square one all over again. Okay? Now you got to figure out where you're going to get your next meal, because after all, there is no benefits, because you just sent $20 billion overseas for what? This is the truth, guys. I'm just telling it like it is. Why are you sending all this money and you can't even help the people right here in this country? Why? I never understood it myself. Why are you sending it overseas? Please explain it to me. I'm just trying to understand it for myself. Okay? If you can assist other countries, you should be able to assist your own people. You got veterans that are homeless here. People who have served this country, and guess what? They're homeless too. Isn't that a slap in the face? Yeah, that's where we are. Again, why? You try to serve the country, and look, what do you get? You can't even get regular medical coverage as a veteran. No, you know, it's just terrible, guy. I'm a firm believer that God is going to take care of you, so I'm not really worried about the world anyway. But at the same time, we have to be practical, and we have to look at everything that's taking place. And what I will say is this, guys: do all you can to save as much as you can, right? Spend smart, okay? Spend smart. Don't go out here and just get all the stuff. Spend smart. Treat this as if this might be your last month to get these benefits. Because I'm telling you guys, December, I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad that they are extending it, because I felt like that was just so wrong for them to do that, and to uh, not give people a chance to get off of the system. That's the thing. You have to allow people, if you're trying to get people off the system, you have to allow people to get off of the system. You can't just pull the rug out from everybody and think that that's going to be something that is going to be beneficial for the country. It's not. It's going to make poverty worse. It's going to make homelessness even higher, right? More people starving, more people stealing. Because when people get desperate, and I've said this too, that's when crime goes through the roof. Okay? And I think, like I said, that's the reason why they extended it in November, because people were already saying, look, if you don't give us these benefits, we're just going to take the food. And they don't care how it's going to happen. People were making those threats all over YouTube. Okay, so the business owners probably saw those videos and contact those senators and say, look, now, we know they can't be on EBT. However, we got to make a profit. Okay, you gotta extend these benefits to these families, because after all, EBT is still money, guys. At the end of the day, it might be government money, but it's still money. And so those business owners are looking at it like, well, hey, I'd rather have something than nothing at all, right? Do you think Kraft from Kraft Macaroni and Cheese didn't say, and this is Thanksgiving? You think they didn't reach out to Washington, D.C. and say, look, now, we've got to make a profit here. We typically make billions and billions of dollars. This is our profitable month, the most profitable month, okay? Because everybody's going to be baking macaroni and cheese for Thanksgiving, right? You're going to have to extend those benefits. I promise you they made a phone call or two. Yeah, Of course. Because guess what? If they didn't, people would go in and just steal whatever's on the shelf. And do you think Kraft or whoever the noodle companies, Mueller and all these other companies, do you think they're going to be making money? No, they're going to lose a lot of money. Yeah. So of course they're going to extend for Thanksgiving. Now I don't know how Christmas is going to look. I don't know. Like I said, it from day to day you just don't know, right? I just tell people to spend smart though. Well, if you're getting them, just spend smart and buy things that's going to last. Okay, that's going to at least carry you through the end of this year as long as you can. Buy things like beans and eggs too, but beans and rice and you know canned goods, things that's not going to spoil no time soon. Okay, things that you can make meals with. Okay, yes, nothing wrong with a few snacks here and there, but that shouldn't be your whole buggy. Okay, and that was part of the problem. That was the reason why they made the changes to that because they were seeing what people were buying, and most time they were buying a lot of junk food and snacks. Okay, so now that they've outlawed that, get things that you know is going to last for the kids. Okay, you and the kids. Okay. But again, November the 1st, like I said, the judge did rule to extend these benefits to the American people. And so, again, now people are a little bit more relieved. They're glad that they are getting these benefits. The reason why I'm talking about it tonight, guys, and this is for the people who's just getting on the live, is again, Thursday, couldn't do the show because my internet and my modem was down. So I decided to do my Thursday show on tonight. Okay, and this is what we were going to talk about on Thursday, was the extension of the SNAP benefits and everything going into November 1st. Okay, so normally I do my fun and entertainment tonight, but because I missed Thursday, I decided to go ahead and just do my Thursday show on tonight. All right. So, but yes, again, if there's some things that y'all want to talk about or see, or there's some things that you just want to chime in on, hey, hit me up in the comment section. I would love to hear what y'all think about this whole government shutdown and the benefits and just what people are thinking overall. Trust me, I get a lot of feedback. I get a lot of feedback if in comments and emails, and some good and some bad, and you. I tell people with social media, you really do have to have a thick skin, okay? Because you're gonna get hit from all angles, and you got to understand everybody's not gonna see it your way, okay? Which is understandable. Um, but I'm open to hearing people's outtakes, and I love to hear what people think about, you know, what they feel how the government is operating right now. And from what I see, the majority of people are they're just hanging on. They're doing what they can. They're trying to survive the best way they can. This channel is not a doom and gloom channel, guys, and this is more I try to keep it real. I try to you know tell people that, hey, this is different. Okay, this is different. When I stress over certain subjects, it's because I know that this can be a catastrophe getting ready to happen. Are you looking at somebody who's a financial advisor, who's a loan officer? I work in finance, so I look at what's going in to the market. I see what catastrophe could cause, even in the banking industry where I work. Okay, it's a trickle down effect, right? If people are not getting paid, let's say we have loans on the books, which we do, right? What do you think is going to happen if people keep getting laid off? They're not going to be able to pay those loans back, right? What do you think is going to happen to the deposit growth in the credit union? They're going to take their money out of the bank, right? Yeah, it's a domino effect. It can hurt the banking industry too. Okay, so I know just looking at this that this is some of this stuff ain't looking good. Okay, and that's why I stress it because for me I have to look at what's going on in the market and keep abreast on what's going on and what's changing. Especially with me working in the financial industry, I have to make sure that everything is covered. Because I'm telling you, it's just like the housing crisis back in 2008 when the market just crashed and people lost their homes, and the banks had to be bailed out, and the automobile industry had to be bailed out, and Obama had just taken office. And I remember it just as good as day. And it's the same thing, when people don't have nowhere to live and they're not working. What you think is going to happen to the loans on the books? They're going to be delinquent. Yeah. What you think is going to happen to all the car loans on the books? You're going to see higher repossessions. Yeah. I know what the domino effect is going to be, right? Especially if they can't find a job. And that's another thing. People say now they can't even find a regular job just to go to work. They can find jobs, but of course it might not be the same type of income that they were making. But hey, I tell people, look, when it comes to working, sometimes you have to go ahead and take what you can and then alternate and do what you have to do after you get that job, because it's a domino effect no matter how you look at it. With me being in banking, I know if the market is going down, right, and people are struggling, people don't have jobs, people don't have, they're homeless and all this stuff. You know what people are going to do? They're taking money out of their banks. We're the first one to get hit. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen to all the loans on the books? They're going to be defaulted, some of them. Delinquency is going to go up. Repossession is going to go up. Collections is going to go up, right? And deposit growth in the money markets and IRAs and CDs and things like that, guess what? That's going to go down. People are going to take their money out of the banks because they need the money to survive. Yeah. So trust me, I know what it could cause even in the financial banking industry. Okay. So, and that's one reason why I always try to inform and stay up on top of that stuff, because it can happen at any moment, guys. Okay. Any moment. All right. But anyway, yeah. So tonight, like I said, we are talking about the extension of SNAP benefits, which will be in this month. So people are going to get those benefits after all. All right. Again, thank God for the people who made that happen. Let's give it up for tonight, y'all. I'm so glad. I am so glad that they decided to give people an extension, because that's the thing. Why are you waiting till November to remove this? The most busiest time of the year, where people come together, where retailers make the most money, stores, where families get together the most, where people spend the most money. Why remove it now? Okay? Not only are you hurting people, you're hurting businesses too. Yeah. Trust me, those businesses had a meeting about this. Trust me, they did. Oh, yeah. The government just didn't decide to say, you know what, let's extend this. They did, but you best believe they had some pressure. They were met with some opposition. I promise you, some of those business owners, those people in those grocery stores, the people who sell the food, yeah, Campbell Soup, all those companies, they got together and they said, you know what, you need to extend through November because, honey, we're trying to get paid too, okay? And they're talking about stealing. We can't get paid if they steal. And the grocery stores, they're going to lose money too. Now the grocery store ain't making money, right? The people on the shelves are not making money because they're going to be stealing. Now you can't pay the employees who work there because you're not making a profit to pay them. It's a domino effect, guys. That's what I say. they had a big talk about this, and again, thank God for the ones who decided to extend this out for the families. But I'm telling you guys, the ones that's getting it, please, and hear me out. Be careful, okay? Be careful in your selection and what you're buying. All right. I can't stress it enough. And I'm going to continue to keep stressing it. Be very, very careful. Okay. It's this is not a game, y'all. I mean, I'm seeing it in people's faces. I see it every day. I see it when people walk into my office, when I'm at work. I see the pain on their face. I see the frustration on their face. I see the desperation on some people's faces when they're coming in to talk with me, you know? And you can only you got to have a heart for people, especially when you're dealing with what I'm dealing with. Okay? And I'm telling you, you see it, you see people who work hard and they still don't have enough. But they get turned down for assistance because they make too much money. That's what the government says. But yet the government just sent out $20 billion overseas to a country that don't even like us. Meanwhile, this mother of four, she works 60 hours a week and she can't even get a loaf of bread right now. And if she is, she can only get just that loaf and maybe some 2 or 3 more items, and that's it. That's where we are, you know? She's doing all she can. And guess what? When she goes for assistance, you know what our government tell her? She makes too much money. You don't qualify for that. Right? But you just sent out $20 billion overseas to a country that don't like us. Why couldn't I get a piece of that? Okay? I'm letting people see the hypocrisy in this. Okay? This is not good. It's not good for the American people. We have to do a better job as a country, you know. And let me say something about this government shutdown. Okay? First of all, the federal workers who are not getting paid. Again, this has been 30 days with no paycheck. All right? Isn't it ironic that they're not getting paid? Okay? But the senators and the House of Representatives that are in the federal government, they're still getting their checks. They're the ones that's making the decisions behind the scenes. Oh, but you want to stop everybody else's paycheck, though. How does that work? Aren't you federal too? That's what I'm saying. And they're out golfing. Some of them are on vacation as the government shutdown continues. Meanwhile, this TSA worker hasn't gotten paid in 30 days. This worker in Internal Revenue, no paycheck. Some of the flight people, the pilots, yeah, some of them are federal agents. No paycheck. Can you imagine 30 days? And to know that the people who's making the decision is still getting paid and they're federal too? How does that work? My thing is, if you're going to stop federal, you need to stop federal everywhere then, including the House of Representatives, including the Senate. They should not be getting a check. Donald Trump too. Nobody in the White House should be getting paid. If the federal government is shut down, the federal government is shut down. And that means all of the federal government. Do you see how they pick and choose? It's almost like COVID when they said that this group over here these are essential workers, right? Okay, this group over here is essential workers. You go out and risk your life, but these people over here, no, you can stay home and get paid. Again, here we go again. It's always round and round in circles. And I'm tired of it, to be honest with you. I am. I don't work for the federal government, but it just, that's just, it just doesn't make any sense to me, right? In all the shutdowns that they've had shutdowns for many, many years. But again, if you're going to take away, you should be able to stand on your own 2 feet. You don't need a check either. That's just how I see it. If you can't pay her, you can't get paid. You stop your paycheck. How about that? And I tell you what, let's see what type of decision making will happen. I promise you're going to get a response pretty quickly. It's not going to be dragging out for 20 and 30 days. They'll have a decision within 1 hour. Let them stop their paychecks. Let's see how quick that resolution will come in. Yeah, that's just how that goes. Again, because now it's affecting their pockets. That's exactly right. If you're going to shut down the government, that means the whole federal government is shut down. Nobody gets paid. If you don't get paid, then I don't get paid. And if I don't get paid, you don't either. Right? So it's a mess, guys. We're going to continue to keep looking in on this, okay? Because like I said, with me being in the financial arena, I have to still keep looking at what's going on and how this could be affecting a lot of businesses, including the banking industry, from what I work in, okay? And I'm telling you guys, if homelessness goes up, crime goes up, right? The job market is not hiring, from what I'm hearing. And if they are, it's not enough to feed your family. Okay? People say, well, why don't you start your own business? With what? What? Do you think people would start a business if they really could? And let me say something also about how some people think this is a conspiracy. I'm going to address this too. Because I had one guy, he told me, he said, well, they're just trying to stir up emotion, They're trying to get people to be in a frenzy and to panic and go out here and buy all this food and this and that and this and that. And you know what? That's very well possible if people had the money to actually buy the food. The problem is these people don't have any money. They're just going to steal it. So the frenzy, they might be trying to stir up a frenzy, but they're not going to go out and buy with cash, and see, that's where they're going to go downhill from there. Okay. I also had one guy tell me, he said that, the government has always had government shutdowns, and that's true. I think the longest one was around 34, 35 days. Okay. And then they came to a resolution. Now, how long will this last? We don't know. We're hoping that this will be open pretty soon. I just, like I said, I just know if federal people are not getting paid, there's going to be more and more people leaving the federal government and going somewhere where they can get a paycheck. What else can you do? Do you think people are just going to continue to work for free? No. They can't survive like that. They got to find other gigs. Some people are doing DoorDash and all these little side hustles to try to get up some money too. And I don't blame them. You have to do what you got to do until you get, that retro pay. Hopefully, if they open up the government, they get the retro pay from, last month and this month combined. So but in the meantime, the bills start, they start going. They don't stop, y'all. They keep coming in the mailbox every month like clockwork. Meanwhile, your check has stopped. It's like I say, it's just crazy, guys. But anyway, we're gonna continue to keep looking in on this, and I'm gonna definitely cover a little bit more maybe Monday. We are gonna talk about some other things that are in the pipeline as well, because of course, Michelle Obama did speak out a little bit last week, and we're going to address that probably on Monday. And of course, Kamala Harris was on her book tour about a week ago, and of course, she went off on one of the hecklers, which I did show you that on one of my shows maybe about a week and a half ago. And so, just a lot of things in the pipeline that we're going to continue to keep digging in on and keep focusing on, because I'm telling you guys, look, this this year, look at it like this, guys. Donald Trump, in his first 11 months, has really done a number on this country. Okay? Donald Trump, in his first 11 months, like I said, has done a number on this country. Now, we got 3 more years to go. Okay? So, if you think that this year he's doing a good job, hey, whatever. I just know from what I'm seeing, the numbers just don't lie. People's expressions and the way they're feeling, you can't hide frustration. You can't. Like I said, I see it on people's faces. I feel it when people are walking in and that they're talking to me about their issues, what they're dealing with. You can just see the heaviness on people. You can. You really, really can. And like I said, there's no joy. I don't see, like back in the 90s. I'm mid 40s. So back in the 90s, people had more joy. People were more personal, and you could see it on people's faces. The customer service was better. People are more happy to help you. Now, people are so cold now, and I think because of the way the world is, it's just, there's a disconnect with just everyday people. People don't want to be personal. People don't want that they just don't want to be friendly no more, and I think social media has a big part to play in that. But back in, like I say, the 80s and 90s, people, we came together and we pulled together, even with different races, because at that time we didn't have social media. Number one, but number two, people understood what it took to pull together. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like now, when you watch people, you can see it. There's no joy. There's no. I don't know. It's something about people's persona now. It's like people are just tunnel. They go in, they get what they want, they're back in their car, and they're out. Right? And nothing wrong with that, but you just don't see that interaction. Even with people in customer service, it's just, they're just there to do their job, and that's it. They're not here to talk. They're not here to say, hey, how are you doing today? It's none of that. It's just, thank you, and that's it. Next. Right? But that's where we are. So hopefully we can get back to that personal side. But I'm going to say this, guys. We got 3 more years to go. 3 more years to go, guys. Like I said in January, it's going to be a long 4 years. And I meant it. I definitely meant it. If this is what we're seeing in 11 months, can you imagine next November when they're going to be talking about midterms and all that? Can you imagine the 3rd year and then the 4th? Right? Do you see how much damage has been done in these last 11 months? Now listen, did I agree with everything that Biden and Harris stood for? No. Like I said, I'm independent. So there was a lot of policies that I didn't agree with. And there was a lot of things that was lacking, like the border, which I've stated that over and over again, that needed to be handled, that was not taken care of, okay, under their administration. All right. I've said that. I'm honest. Okay. When it came to them, I said the exact same thing. I said, She didn't take care of the border. Kamala did not take care of the border. She did not do what she was supposed to do when it came to securing the border wall. All right. Uh, and again, that's how I felt like that's kind of how she lost the election. Now that we flipped the page and we got Donald Trump back in the chair, we see in these 11 months what he's doing. He's taking away everything, guys. He don't care, okay? He doesn't. If you're not a rich millionaire or billionaire, he doesn't care, okay? Even Elon Musk has a problem with him now, and they were the best of friends earlier in the year until he wanted to take his subsidies away for his EV cars. Now they're not friends anymore. So, again, until it affects them, right? It was all right just to affect the everyday American people, but as soon as Donald said, "Well, you know what? We're doing wasteful spending, Elon. We're going to get rid of your subsidies for your electric vehicle, your EV cars, all these tax rebates and things like that to help people buy these expensive cars. Yeah, we're going to remove those from you too." And now he calls them every name in the book, right? Because again, that's affecting his livelihood. And now they're not even speaking. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's where we are, okay? I can't stress it enough, okay? I really, really just can't stress it enough. All right. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and shut it on down for tonight. And again, thanks everybody who has tuned in to Sports and Politics with T. I decided to talk about the SNAP benefits again tonight because, again, Thursday show, my modem was down, my internet was out, and I just got the technician came out this morning to fix my internet and gave me a new modem, thank God, so I can get back online. I couldn't even stream my regular TV, guys. I have smart TVs all over my house. I was so upset because I love doing my show through the week. And I was like, oh man, when I got home, I think it was 5:30, and I cut my TV on and I noticed the little, how when you're streaming, the thing was going like this and going like this. And so I disconnected and unplugged it. And then I went in the bedroom where the modem was and I unplugged it and plugged it back in and still no Wi-Fi signal. And I was like, oh, great. So of course, I called the internet provider. They said, yeah, we'll get a technician out there. And because I'm off on the weekends, they came this morning. Thank God they fixed everything. So now I am back in the order. Okay, so that's why I wasn't able to film on Thursday night. But that's why we're doing this show to replace Thursday show. Okay, so... But yes, guys, so that's one reason why I decided to go ahead and get on live. Just so I can be a little bit more personal with everybody. Some people decided they wanted me to be more personal. Hey, I don't mind being personal to y'all if y'all prefer that, or if there's some, because I do a lot of pre-recorded videos too. But if you want me to be more personal, hey, put a thumbs up or a little heart or something just to let me know if you prefer that or not. Either way, it's fine with me. Okay, so. But yeah, so I am going to go ahead and jump on off of the live. But let's give it up for tonight. Yes, I am so glad that everybody has tuned in. And again, thank you for everyone who's tuned in, just listening to me speak for about an hour on tonight. If you enjoyed this content, please hit like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you can, please hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss any episodes every time I come on to YouTube, okay? I will be back on Monday at 8 p.m. We're going to get right back into the political arena and stay on this because, honey, I'm telling you, this is going to be a long year, okay? These last 60 days, I can see it now. I can just see it. I don't even, and I'm, how you anticipate the new year? I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of want to turn the page, but then I'm a little scared to you know what? No, I'm not going to be scared because God is in control. You know what I'm saying? We got to put things back into perspective. God is still in control. Doesn't matter who's in the chair at the end of the day, okay? at the end of the day, he's going to take care of his people, no matter what. All right. So anyway, let's give it up. That's right. So I will see everybody on Monday at 8 p.m. Everyone have a great rest of your week. And I will talk with you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.